Hello and welcome to your NES Health Energy for Life Bioenergetics scan. So the purpose of this video is a walkthrough on helping you to understand how to navigate through your scan, what your scan means. And so if you have any questions after, then you can of course ask them. So, what you're seeing here, from my point of view as a practitioner versus your point of view as a client, you're going to see the exact same view. So, there is no difference, which is always helpful. So, you can understand that what I'll be showing you here today when you get your scan will be the exact same mapping. Right. So what we're working here is bioenergetics. We're working with the energy fields of the body with a combination of Chinese medicine, so TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, where we work with concepts around what we call meridians or energy systems of the body. So meridians are energy lines that more than 5,000 years ago, the great Taoists, so the Chinese practitioners, were able to go deep into the body and they were able to map out where certain organ energy lines resonate on the body. So I always refer to them as invisible energy fields with certain key points on the body. So I always use a great example of the heart, where it's on the pinky finger working all the way up to the armpit. And when someone, for example, has a stroke or heart attack, there often is a blockage in one of these points that you'll see somebody grabbing onto their arm and inferring that there's an imbalance there. So, as I mentioned, Chinese medicine's more than 5,000 years old, so it's got a long-standing history. And now, in with one of the creators or founders of this technology, Peter Fraser, who is a quantum physicist, was able to map out the um, understanding of Chinese medicine and also match it to be as one would find it in science and quantum physics. So the beauty of this scan is that you can find in science, you can validate it in science. So it gives a lot of more depth and accuracy and validity to it, especially to the people who are not necessarily open spiritually or energetically. But this is to bring sort of a bridge or create a bridge between both that, what we don't see to the visible eye does exist. So our field, our aura, our body field, a biofield. And so we can obviously try and see the similarities and where science is possible. So this I always demonstrate as a future of medicine because we can pick up things before they even start to become physical in the body. So we can obviously work in the aspect of preventative medicine. So in science, they've been able to demonstrate what every organ operates at a specific frequency, etc., as well as emotions and energies, frequencies. And so they know what a perfect human should look like. And with this technology, in under 30 seconds, literally in seconds, we're able to scan you either using the biometric voice scanner, which is the one often recommended, or when you're in the clinic, you can use the scanner device. And so we can obviously see what the perfect human or animal should, or child should map out to be compared to what your current energy is as a snapshot of you in this moment right now and what you're operating at. And then it does a report where I'll say, okay, this is how you should be. This is what you where you're at currently, and what are the differences. And then it's taking it to its next level and saying, okay, well, out of all of these imbalances today, what is priority? And priority in simplistic terms, I would say maps out to be purple. So for simplicity, I just say to people, look for purples only in the scan. But I do want to emphasize that it doesn't mean what shows up here is a diagnosis because it is not at all. It's just saying that attention needs to be given to these areas. Another common example that people do come in with disease and illness that has been diagnosed according to Western medicine, and it doesn't represent or show up on the scan, doesn't mean that it's not there, but it's saying that based on treating the body at its root for this current snapshot of your energy field today, what does your body need more? And that's how we look at the scan is what is in priority, what does your body need more? And what how can we support these systems to communicate information from head to toe properly, right? So in simple, again, simplistically speaking, just look for purples because there's so many different tabs that you can see here. And it can, in a way, get overwhelming with information. So if you're focusing on all the different colors, it will be a little bit too much. So we just want to keep it simple. Right, so what you'll see here is energy source. So this is where you're getting aspects of energy, where you can get your energy from throughout your daily day-to-day activities, etc. So that would be your fundamentals of diet, hydration, exercise, oxygenation, your circadian rhythms, as well as the planetary alignment that has a magnetic effect on our bodies, which, would include not feeling grounded or mess with our heart rate variability, and our sleeping patterns as well. So next one we'll look at is how strong are your energy fields. So we're looking at, different things such as, your source, your core energy, if you're feeling absolutely drained or wiped out, working with the nervous system, how things work within circulation down to various organs, and to hormones as well. We're looking at how well does the energy flow? So we want to look at, if we were talking about these, I call it the meridian sections, the meridians here, energy lines, how well are they strong? Do they work? And if they are working, is the flow good? Is it too slow? Is it flowing too fast? So we want to make sure the communication is in a balance, a state of homeostasis at optimum. So we want to make sure things are going and working out properly. All right, so we want to see how well that's flowing, and that's going through our various organs. Mind-body connection. So we want to look at how your body and your mind are communicating, because if one is out of balance, it will create a knock-on or seesaw effect onto the other. So I use the common examples if you've gained a lot of weight, that will have a knock-on effect to your mind, and then that can create a sense of anxiety, insecurity, etc., which can put you into more of a depressive-like state that can have negative knock-on consequences to the functionality throughout the body or the communication and information. Or inversely, you can have really bad news, a loved one passing away, losing a job, the news of COVID coming about again, that can create a lot of stress physically on the body, even a breakup, for an example. And the most common one I see is that people will clench their jaw, they bite their jaw, grind their jaw at night, so creating a disharmony in the jaw, but then that will set off all different muscles in the body, which will have a negative knock-on effect. So we see how that works throughout the body and how your stress in response to that is. We can look at your emotions, how your brain is performing. We look at the energetic aspects of your immune system and how they're responding. Stars, I just say, are like flags that, important information that we want to make reference to, especially when we refer to our third phase of what this protocol entails, because this is the scan. Then we can go into the treatment with the machine, and then we can go into what we call infoceuticals, which I'll show you over here. Infoceuticals are always top 5 recommended bottles, which I call the effective or equivalent of nutrition or supplementation, which are magnesium, potassium, water, so aka electrolyte water, that's placed into a machine, and then energy is programmed into them to achieve a specific outcome or purpose. So what we can see here is 5 will always be recommended, which at the baseline will be 15 drops a day for the month. 5 bottles work out per month. So if you'd like to buy some, you can go directly onto the Energy for Life website, and you can directly add them to your basket. And sometimes the practitioner, such as myself, will need to add them in the basket for you if we want to reharmonize and bring things back into balance. So in this example, there's an imbalance in this client's circadian rhythm, so their sleeping patterns, not not going out a lot. It's winter, not being exposed to a lot of sunlight. So there's that imbalance that needs correction. Cell metabolism is not functioning well. They're not exercising a lot. So the cell turnover is not communicating properly, so needing to help support the cells. Liver, immunity, and the oxygenation in the body, a lot of lactic acid buildup. So this is to help try and support the communication of the body to improve, right? So that's a third way. So this technology is nice because it can support you with providing information. Then you can have a physical treatment with the My Health device, which you can separately buy. And then the equivalent of supplementation nutrition is available as well to treat from an ingesting point of view. So it's a three-phase process. So we can see here that the machine, which is wonderful, it's saying that in order to treat these issues that are popping up, it's only 2 minutes per area. So that can be passed on by the body. So saying the spine, eyes, thyroid, teeth, recharging the cells, and then connecting the central nervous system to the heart matrix. You get a personalized meditation as well. And then what we do is we come here where this is the summary page to see what are your main patterns. You can have up to 5 patterns maximum, and minimum is 3. So in this case, there's a lot of imbalance showing up for this client because there are 5 items showing up today. But it is winter, so a lot of people are sick, a lot of triggers around immune system. So this is quite normal. So we see energy levels, immune system, liver, blood sugar, nervous system, and the impacts of why this is showing up. Usually, if someone is quite unwell or quite imbalanced, all columns will be purple. So we can say that in this case, it's so because there's a lot of oranges popping up. CFI stands for cold, flu, and infection. CNS is central nervous system as well. So that's quite informative. So I can see as an overall here that there's something going on with the immune system. And in this case, this person has caught COVID. So it's messing with not being able to have an appetite, not feeling well. Lots of detoxification processes going on. The immune system's triggered, feeling exhausted. And their nervous system is just shot. So that's quite interesting. So we're going back here just so we can navigate again from the beginning. When you're navigating, you can hover over each category and then you'll get a blue pop-up box that will give you bullet points to explain why an imbalance would show up. You can be one bullet point, doesn't have to be all for it to be relevant to you. And then you can also click on where you can access training to explain more what the screen explains or what it's about. And a help file is provided below to explain what the box selected is about, and elaborating information as well as providing hacks and information on how you can look at creating more balance to that, and aka trying to get the purple down, right? So the goal is not to have any purples, but of course, in the perfect world, that it doesn't exist, but we want to get it to be as balanced as possible, right? So we want to create what better ways we can create habits and lifestyle, so we can support information to be correctly working through there. Right, so that explains that. The strength of the system, again, you can hover, you can click, go down, you can read about it. You can meet, I watch a video by Peter Fraser, who is the quantum physicist who created this technology, paired with the founder, Harry Massey, who's both are very intelligent men to have created this information, paired with Eastern medicine being Chinese medicine. Right. So that provides information there so you can learn and understand more about that. How well does the energy flow? So this one is a multi drop down file. So you can see here the highest numbers that would originate would be fours, right? So then you want to look more into that, you can. And you can read the hub file listed below. And as I said, then you can get access to training, the screen, and a video. You can see how the specific, in this case, organ is affected from the front, from the back, as well as the meridian that impacts. Because often people say, oh, I have a pain somewhere there, and this can explain why there's an imbalance. So there's no purples here today, so I personally wouldn't give too much attention to this tab. But then we also look that if there's maybe a lot of oranges, we need to ask ourselves, okay, if it's if quite a few oranges, or that does that imply? I think this would be in the immune system. So yeah, let's see, a lot of oranges here. We're going to think the logic of, could this potentially be becoming a purple? Be becoming a purple? Or there are lots of purples that have now become oranges. Then we need to give more focus and attention to that, which would be done through conversation. Right, so that's, you can see and explain. Mind-body connection. Only the first four tabs can be clicked on for more information. Nothing much more would be shown here. And sometimes there is an affirmation, but these are the top four that can be clicked more to get something else. You can click on this section. So usually if there's a four, but we don't have one, so let's just use an example, biting. So we see here biting, bitten. There's an affirmation, and it explain what's going on. So it could be biting, literally biting your nails, biting your jaw. That could infer stress. So I have the ability to do what my heart tells me to do, tells me is the right things to do. Yeah, that's quite wonderful. I love affirmations. So there's lots that will be all over. Morals perhaps in question. All actions in my life provide a path to good outcomes, and I release the old and welcome in the new. So right, so this, like I said, is having a emotional and physical impact, vice versa. So we just want to make sure that we are addressing that, right? So adrenal showing up, direction, feeling lost, etc. Right? Emotions. So emotions will be repeated twice. So that's here. And then in life journey, it will be here as well. So that is the same section. And this is all about an energetic imprint. So if an emotion's coming up, so if we use love, for example, it could be your love towards someone, someone showing love towards you, could be someone in your circle that's experiencing love and you're around them. So you're picking up on those energies, which bring positive, uplifting imprints. And, I can use an example. If you get into a relationship, could happen if you're breaking up from a relationship, could be maybe getting engaged, could be, your sibling has become engaged, could be something around your sibling, anything emotional, could be romantic, could be family, could be work, could be anything, right? So this is open to a dialogue as well, but usually people resonate and understand why certain emotions are coming up in the moments that they do. Brain performance, so you can again just hover over, click onto a section, and just see and understand what that means if it's coming up. Immune system. So this stands for broad spectrum of virus. So there's some form of exposure, cold, flu infection, cold, flu sinus, various sections that could be broken down into multiple for liver and immunity as well, or immune, nerves, etc. Glial cell is the communication pathways from the mind communicating to the body to heal. So sometimes that might be broken or not working properly, and thus healing may not be achieved effectively. And that can happen because sometimes systems can be broken, usually as a result of injury or a result of trauma. That could be from, since the beginning of your life, right? And I have a good example because I did a scan on a woman many years ago who at the time was 44, if I remember correctly. And a lot of emphasis came up about her ears. And she said that when she was young, she was born deaf and she had a surgery when she was born to support her hearing, which did and was a success in terms of the surgery, but it was still being picked up on an energetic aspect, which we have subsequently treated. Right. So this section I usually say is an emphasis about we need to know how we're going to be treating in terms of the pharmaceuticals, and also say it's like flags, just emphasizing out of these first five sections what's quite important. So nerves are showing up, cell metabolism, and carbon, oxygen, and hydrogen aspects are also showing up in the body, where I talk about lactic acid, and detoxification processes and how they're working in the body. This is the machine that if you buy yourself or if you're in the clinic, you come for in-person sessions, then you can look at treating. You can receive a treatment through this machine. If done online, then sometimes, if possible, kinesiology techniques can be shown to help support you with improving these imbalances that would be showing up, because there are quite a few techniques available. MRs, this would be specific to the My Health device that would be able to treat. This is specific, unique settings, which an overall MR cycle for all of these would be a 54-minute treatment to completely reset the body. And I love this because I do this every single day with the machine, and the machine is really powerful, can do many, many things. It can help you with post-exercise, can help you with treating any body part. They're virtually all there. Can help you with stress imbalances, can help you with EMFs, so electronic magnetic frequencies, and electronic exposure, radiation exposure. Can help you with chakras. If you're into chakras, because it can show you here about which chakras are showing up as imbalanced. It can help you with digestion of foods, can help you with sleep, can help you with anti-aging, can help you with injuries. It's quite a powerful device with a lot of features on it. And the best part is that you can buy it and keep it for home use as well. The environmental exposure section has a lot of sub-tabs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which shows you where you're getting exposures. And again, this could be recent or it could be something from quite some time ago, where the system is not communicating properly, and support can be provided to those areas to try and get your energy fields into balance. So we talk about homework and personal care. So this is products that you use for toiletries, for the bathroom, kitchen cleaning products, laundry products, anything that you'd use to build your house or refurb, etc. So there are flame retardants or smoke, etc. So that will be showing up, which again you can click on, and it will provide the help file to explain to you what this all means. Solvent exposures, heavy metals, which is very popular, especially at the clinic, because we specialize in detoxification alongside gut health. Agricultural. So the premise of this is try get chemical-free products, which we are able to provide you lots of recommendations and support around. Try not be exposed if you're going to be building or moving things or new furniture, paints, etc. So just being mindful of that. Heavy metals, and just try to incorporate habits that you can remove yourself from exposures. But if you've been exposed, then looking at a heavy metal detoxification protocol for a few months, paired with detoxification treatments. Agriculture, so we're talking about herbicides, fungicides, insecticides. So the premise is try eat organic, try have always wash your foods, try not to eat the skins of foods, try to cook your food, steam them, so you can do your best to avoid the occurring toxicities, poisons that we are being exposed to on a micro level, but on a daily basis, which will then have on a long term, have a much more serious impact when the effect is compounded. Food, we're going to look at various aspects of foods and type of exposures that you can, with combining certain foods, how you're cooking your foods, how the preservatives are, etc., and the fat exposures as well. Mold, we're looking at mold. This is a very common problem. So the most common I'll see will be, damp in the house. So just implementing techniques that are trying to support mold reduction, not eating food that's old that would have mold on it. And then, of course, if there's imbalance in the body, then that can express itself with having verrucas or fungal toenails, etc. So that would be showing up here. Radiation exposure through EMFs, so electromagnetic frequencies. So you just want to be mindful about where you're exposing yourself. So how often are you holding your phone? Are you sleeping with your phones next to you? Are you sleeping with a lot of electronics in your room? Are you sleeping with the Wi-Fi on at night? Are you having or using, whilst using a computer, laptop, Mac, etc.? Are you using that whilst it's being charged? Because then you're receiving the direct the EMF exposures or the radiation exposures. Are you cooking with your microwave, etc.? So it's just kind of like what you're doing. And the most popular one is blue light exposure. So when it's time, a few hours before bed, you need to start remove the exposures of that big blue light that's going in from your laptops, your phones, your TVs, which is then preventing you from being able to get into deep sleep because it takes a few hours to offload. But again, support around that would be having, blue light glasses or switching off your devices, changing the colors on your devices to blue light screen protectors, etc. So there are techniques around that. The most popular section is the nutrition. So this is what we look at when we do regular monthly check-ins, or even more frequently, depending on the nature of the need. But this is where we can see where there are imbalances in the vitamins, minerals, omegas, amino acids, antioxidants. And then again, when you don't know if something's showing up, then it will give you some examples of what foods you can eat, as well as explaining what that role of the specific vitamin, mineral, etc. plays in. You can see how your body is processing specific food groups on an individual basis as well as an overall basis, how well you are absorbing your foods, if you are at all, and how well your blood is oxygenating. So you can see in this person's case, not well. Sensitivity. So this is just a handful of foods that do fluctuate with every scan, and sometimes there are consistents that stay, but as our energy is constantly changing, so does our response to foods. And it can be on, as I use the analogy, you wake up on a day where the stars are aligned, everything is good, it's sunny, you're in good relations with everyone, you go to gym, you're full of energy, life's good. Typically on that day, then you'll be able to process foods really easily, but you may not the next day. So this is just a handful. I generally say to individuals, because that's the field I work in, is where we do work with blood tests, to say it would be good to do a blood test to check out, on an overall basis, with a lot more food exposures, to see what is happening, and then just see every time you do a scan, and we just do compare notes. So glutens we look at on an overall level, legumes, nuts, citrus, nightshades, and other. And then we're looking at what I call the psychology tab. So we look at what's going on with the purpose of your life. The platform, you can go online, get a free or free access to a course called Choice Point to help elaborate in explaining what's going on. So forgiveness, a huge of a help file is available. What your body's trying to say that it needs in order to change, or what journey it's on, what archetype you're showing as imbalanced within the moment, what affirmations you need in the moment, the emotional imbalance, as I mentioned, is a repeat from here, what chakras are coming up, if you're into chakras, of course. According to psychotherapist Carl Jung, what are your imbalance dynamics in a relationship capacity? And then I always say what we could summarize your themes of what's showing up as imbalanced in your body today that needs some extra support. So we'll click on here, and this example, we talk about identity. Identity will be referring to cells, and then the help file will explain more. Transformation, which would be about liver, transforming things, where you get keywords and a help file to explain more. And this is the overall understanding of what the scan is. So when you perform online using the biometric voice scanner, or if you have bought the scanning device, this is what we'll look at, is seeing your overall patterns, what's coming up. And if you're open to this level of technology, then we recommend the infoceuticals, which you can buy directly on their platform. And again, we can work through whether treating you, if you're in the clinic, or exercises, techniques can be provided to help you. Nutrition can be recommended, talking through what's showing up here. New habits and lifestyle habits can be created to support you in changing habits at home, at work, how you do things to mitigate or minimize exposures, and just trying to get you to create really, really good habits. And this is what a scan looks like. I hope you are very excited to see what yours will show, and I look forward to working with you. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I look forward to meeting you soon. Bye.